Hello everyone, happy Paddy's Day from Danu's Irish Herb Garden, La Fhéile Phádraig. As you know, the shamrock is an emblem very much associated with Ireland and particularly Paddy's Day because reputedly St. Patrick picked a three-leaved shamrock plant which is very reminiscent of the triscala found on ancient monuments, and he picked the plant to demonstrate metaphorically the Holy Trinity to the Irish pagans, and they loved all things in threes, so he hoped to convert them to Christianity. Now, we don't know which plant he used because he never mentioned it himself in any of his writings, and nor do any of his biographers, so we don't really know which plant is the shamrock. Some years back, there was a botanist who sent word around the country for people to send to him the shamrocks that they would use on Paddy's Day. And he was very surprised because there were so many different plants that arrived, including watercress and landcress and red and white clover. So I'm very sorry to disappoint anyone, but there is not any unique shamrock plant, well, the plant that's unique to Ireland is shamrock, because it's just the common clover. So actually it's never even been mentioned in history until we get to the 1690s, and there was a traveller to Ireland who noticed on Paddy's Day that lots of people were wearing green three-leaved plants in their hats. And for me, I like to pick my shamrocks, and I do enjoy a creamy pint of Guinness, and I always like to have, especially for Paddy's Day, a fresh Irish soda bread. So if you come up to the house with me now, I'll show you how I make it. I'm making a soda bread. I make soda bread regularly, but this is in preparation for our Paddy's Day celebrations. I'm going to be making nettle soup as well, so the bread will go nicely with that. And I just thought, because it's an Irish national holiday, this is an Irish soda bread, you might be interested in how it's made. And I'm going to make 2 loaves with this, and I'll put all the measurements and the ingredients in the links below. We always use organic flour, and in fact we use organic grain and then we mill it. And the reason for that is when I opened a health shop several years ago, we became well educated about the benefits of organic food, and we've used organic food ever since. And particularly, I think it's important to use organic flour, because I guarantee everybody watching this video will either have or know somebody who has digestive issues. And many people are becoming gluten intolerant. People just can't tolerate baked goods or even gravy mixes or anything that has wheat or gluten in them. And my daughter bought me this book for Christmas. It's called Wilding, and it's about an English estate who decides to stop farming and rewild. And I just thought, this just struck me as horrific. Wait till I find my glasses and I'll tell you what happens in agrarian farming. So she's saying that there was an ever-increasing carbon cost in fossil fuel. So this is what they do for their wheat crop. In addition to regular doses of artificial fertiliser, the plants had to be sprayed with 2 fungicides as they emerged from the ground, and a plant growth hormone to prevent them growing too tall, and the fragile stems could snap in the wind. As they grew, they were given another cocktail of fungicides and growth hormones, followed by a third in the most rapid stage of stem growth, and a final dose as the grains began to develop. And I've also heard that a lot of crops are then sprayed after harvest with Roundup, because Roundup dries the cereal stems and prevents rot. So when you get your bread from the shop, you're also getting 2 to 3 or 4 sprayings of fungicide, herbicides and growth hormones, not to mention the Roundup at the end to dry the crop. So to me, I just don't eat shop bread anymore. I only eat my own bread. I make soda bread. My husband makes yeast bread. But I, as I say often, I love these connections with my ancestors and my family. So I do like to make soda bread. For each loaf, you need 1 pound of flour. So I've got 2 pounds of flour in here. I've put in 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to put in a good knob of butter, which it's 2 loaves, so it's a big knob of butter. So I'm just rubbing in the butter to make a kind of breadcrumby, the same way you would with pastry. In the past, when people were cooking over an open fire, they would put their loaf onto a griddle. So it would come out as a round kind of cake. They would call it a cake, actually, a cake of bread. But I'm going to do it in loaf tins because it's easier to slice then when you're making a little sandwich. So I have the butter in and I have the salt in, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, which is what gives it the name soda bread. So I'm putting a teaspoon in for each of the loaves. And that's it. You just add the buttermilk. But I'm also, just to fancy it up a bit, I'm going to put in some pumpkin seeds, just a little handful of pumpkin seeds and some sunflower seeds. Oh, and there's some sesame seeds in there. So they're just an optional extra. Certainly wouldn't be found in a traditional soda bread. They would just be, a traditional soda bread would just be the salt, the soda and the buttermilk and the butter. We get the buttermilk from the grocer's shop. And you just make a well in the flour and you just stir it in. Now, years ago when we lived in England and you couldn't get buttermilk, my mother used to make soda bread just with sour milk. She'd just let the milk go a little bit over, and it always turned out perfectly okay. So if you can't get hold of buttermilk, you could try it that way if you wanted to give it a try. But it's quick and easy to make, and it's very handy if you're in a hurry, because, you know, yeast bread takes such a long time. You've got to prove it and knead it and let it rise and knock it down, and it can take several hours. So this is quick. Now, I'm afraid I cannot tell you how much milk I'm putting in. I'd say it's probably half a litre, which is a pint for each loaf. So I'm putting a full litre in here. It depends on you if you like your bread to be dry or moist. Depends on you how much. But I would like my consistency to be not dripping off the knife, but to be, you know, sticky, a sticky dough. Even though we do eat soda bread regularly every other day, I do like to just have it made for Paddy's Day. We're going to be having nettle soup on Paddy's Day, so I'll be making that later, but I'll save it for you for another video, because I want to talk about the health benefits of nettle too, especially at this time of year when we're in our spring cleaning mode, because nettle is just so good as a cleansing herb. So that's had all the milk in. Just give it a final bit of a stir around. And I'm just going to pour it into the tins here. They're very well greased with butter. in it goes. And the final touch is, of course, the four-sided cross to protect it from any mischief and to make sure it's got a blessing. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to pop it in the oven. So they should bake away now for about 40 minutes. We'll say 30 to 50, depending on your oven and how hot it is. I'll try to put a recommended temperature below. All I can remember is from when I had a gas cooker, it was gas number 8 that you reduced down to number 5. But I'm on a different system here. So I'll have to look up the degrees and temperatures and things. And that is how you make soda bread. Very quick and easy. So it's out of the oven. I'm having a slice of one I made the other day. Very nice if I say so myself. So sláinte, Fhéile, and I hope you enjoy Paddy's Day wherever you are. And I'll see you next time with a nettles video. Bye.